IVM.
Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome to the Diary of the Traveling Professor. And I'm Siddharth Deshmukh, your friendly neighborhood traveling professor himself. And on this wonderful Sunday, I'm recording for the Thursday. You're going to hear this on the Thursday, so I hope the week has been kind to you. I've already made a podcast on search, so you can take a look at it and just listen. It just talks about the evolution of search, really. But in this diary entry, I wanted to talk of some other evolution. I think I wanted to talk of the evolution of a teacher or a professor or whatever you want to call all of us guys who come and bore you in classrooms, or rather, used to bore you in classrooms. Yeah, today's diary entry was triggered by a conversation that I was having with a friend of mine who was an ex colleague as well at MICA when I was associate dean. His name is Kiran Mahasor, and he's forwarded an article to me saying, educators should not be content creators. I think that was the gist of it. And the article was arguing for the fact that educators do much more. They mentor, they coach, they raise questions, they make, people have be curious across all and it's not just about them creating some recorded pieces of content and putting it out there and getting something like akin to a YouTube or an Instagram video and stuff like that. And he asked me my opinion for it. And I know that there are a few well meaning academics and friends of mine who have also shared this particular article, stating the case for the fact that educators are not particularly content creators. Uh-huh. So I decided to have a deep think about it and try and figure out where I stood. Because as a teacher, what I've done is I have obviously been in the classroom, and I love being in the classroom, of course. And there's a wonderful different kind of atmosphere when it is the classroom. But I've also created recorded content, okay, and recorded content for a variety of online programs. And I have also done online live sessions wherein it's another different kind of, maybe it's the blurred line maybe between educator and content creator is what I was thinking at first. But then I realized that actually, even when I am in the classroom, it is still a kind of content, right? It's just the medium that has changed. The classroom has changed to either an online live session or an online recorded session. So an educator, to my mind, has always been a content creator. Sorry, dear academics, an educator has always been a content creator. Now, there are some educators who have been fantastic content creators in the theater of the classroom. And there are some who have been very good in doing online stuff. And there are some who have made the transition well. And there are some who haven't, right? And I think that that is an integral part. Developing great content and delivering it well is an integral part of being a great educator. Now, does that mean that that is where an educator's job kind of ends? Not really. I mean, there are so many people who have reached out to me and kind of talked to me after the classroom. I have mentored people and I have spoken to them and I have made them think about things. I have referred books to them and so many different things, right? And so many different ways in which you can have an impact on a student in a positive way or even in a negative way sometimes. um, and of course, that's there. But I believe that the reason why, and this is very important because this is where I stand probably a little different from the rest of my brethren in academia. I believe that an educator is respected, especially in today's Generation Z and the millennials and all of that. Well, I think an educator is respected first for the content that you know he or she brings to the table. Now, that was very different when it was 20 years back or even 10 years back. It was that, okay, a teacher is automatically supposed to be respected. And there's some good in that because it teaches you, humility and respect and the ability to listen and pay attention, even though you may not really like the person in front of you. You're being kind to venerable age and all of that. But I think that that is fast eroded. And I'm not too sure that I dislike that. I think that the great educators are the ones who will always be evolving and creating great content first that gets students to respect them. Of course, an educator can have an off day. Sometimes the content is not so good, or sometimes, the delivery is not so good, or sometimes the students are bored and stuff like that. It can happen. Okay. I mean, term 6 in a lot, or term 6, or the last term of the second year in an MBA school is typically a dead term, because most people just want to get the hell out. And even a great educator is going to find it really, really difficult to actually, get through to students at that point in time. But I digress. The point I'm trying to make is that an educator today is only going to be respected if he or she is creating great content first. Now, that content you can create in a recorded video form, or in a live online session, or in the classroom, or all three, or maybe a fourth if virtual reality comes in. But the fact is that an educator cannot command that respect, or that obeisance, or whatever it is, just because he or she is an educator and sometimes has got a doctor's degree, or whatever the hell it is. You need to be respected for the stuff that you bring in. Yes, in that way, you are like an artist. You are like a stand-up comedian. You are like a singer. You are like another performance player, right? In that particular arena. Now, I think that a lot of the problems that have been elucidated on this count, mind you, on this count, educators have a lot of other issues that they face, but on this count is because they have not been able to transition between the classroom to online modes of delivery. And you know something, I did a little bit of research, and there have been many theater artists who have found it really, really difficult to move to film. In fact, film artists are known for their subtlety, right? A theater is known for its dramatics, and very few people are able to do both very easily, or to good effect. And I feel that while every academic and every great teacher or whatever will bring a lot of value to the table that goes beyond the content is something that will get students to respect the educator in the first place, especially in an era wherein you are getting mediocre content or even great content on YouTube and the like, right? So an educator has to be pegging their content at a different level. So it can come from their research that they've done, or it can come from the consultancy assignments that they've done, or it can come from their industry experience or anything. And it also can be a delivery. Like, for example, I don't use any presentations. There are many people who do great PowerPoint presentations or whatever. But it is a combination of the content that you bring in and the way you deliver it that is primary. Everything else, I think, is secondary. It has flipped because the natural law of respect is kind of broken. It's not sacred anymore. I'm not particularly unhappy about this, to be honest. And I'd love to know what your opinion is. I know it is maybe a little controversial, but there it is. That's my current opinion. I'm happy to change my mind if you can convince me otherwise, right? So, on that challenging but happy note, I wish you a wonderful weekend. And if you like the video series that I put up, just a reminder, The Traveling Professor Investigates is a video series I've put up. There's 8 episodes already out there, and there's a 9th one coming out soon. And you can always follow me as The Traveling Professor, of course, on LinkedIn or on Instagram. Thank you, Ghana, the app, for recognizing the fact that I'm doing a lot of episodes, at least some of them good, thankfully. And really wish that all of you go to IVM Podcast and listen to some of the other stuff that they've got going there. They've finished their 5th year anniversary, I believe, quite recently, and put up over 7,000 hours of content. That's educational, isn't it? Well, on that weird note, see you soon.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank the sponsors on the network this week, Siet Tires and The Whole Truth Foods. We really appreciate your support. So, on Cyrus Says, Sagarika Ghosh, journalist, columnist, author, discusses books she has written, her experiences from reporting about the Babri Masjid demolition back in the day, and the upcoming state election. Cyrus also had a great episode with Devdutt Patnaik last week. Do check that out. Chuck narrates an interesting story about a company that shared its virtual expertise with other companies and empowered the virtual world. No, we're not going to tell you what the brand is, but go check out The Origin of Things. And Chuck also came back on Simplified this week from episode 200 onwards. He's back. Go check that out if you haven't had a chance to do so far. The habit coach Ashton was joined by Sapna Gopalkrishnan, his co-trekker on Mount Kilimanjaro. They recollect the trek's memories and Sapna talks about the challenges she faced. On All Things Policy, Rachit Sheth talks to Sarthak Pradhan about Delhi's water crisis. This is due to the pollution of its major water source, the river Yamuna, and he discusses the case against the state of Haryana. We had Manish Dangi, Chief Investment Officer of the Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund on Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. They discussed India's financial report card with reference to the past decade, the hits and misses, and what the future of investing is going to look like. And with that, we hope to see you again next week.
Hi, I'm Zarina Poonawalla, host of the Empowering Series podcast on the IVM network. I happen to be a peak performance coach and leadership coach by profession, and I'm here to share with you productivity tools, life-altering techniques, and real-life hacks to help you achieve your maximum potential in everything you do, your relationships, professions, careers. So tune in every Monday to unleash your inner power. Be safe, be well, be empowered.